Hello, my name is Hallie Nicodemus, and today I'm presenting my science fair project on if AI can generate images of past Equidade family members, and using that information, seeing if it can generate what it thinks the future of horses in the Equidade family looks like. The purpose of this is to push AI as far as it can go, and my hypothesis was that it could do both the parts of my title. I thought it could generate the images if trained properly, and that it could give us a prediction. Material-wise, this is a very simple setup. You just need a device that can support an AI software. For me, I use my phone because I also used my computer to A, record the data, B, I had a photo of the Equidade member that I was at the time testing to compare the two to. Compare the AI image to the actual scientific drawing. And you also just need an AI. You can write one from scratch, or you can just use one found on the internet. For me, I use Copilot. Background-wise, their evolution is just simply the change of alleles or genes over time through environment, natural selection. It's basically a mutation that the whole population ended up getting. For this, there was the test subjects or species that were used as reference were the Hyraxotherium, or known as Eohippus, which is what I will be referring it to as, Myohippus, Mesohippus, Merychippus, and Pilohippus. These are all families that are now genres that are now extinct, that lived on North America and gave way to the modern horse that we know it as. The horse was the control, as everybody knows what a horse looks like, and that would require a little training. To start off, I started with my control group with an untrained Copilot. I had to generate 2 images of its head, body, and feet. Then I compared them to a photo and decided which ones seemed similar enough that it could be a potential foot or a potential body part. For me, it had to be really close. I wasn't too nitpicky about like the full body coloring. I just wanted it to have the same body proportions, and I didn't specify which breed of horse was used. So it gave me a variety of horses. I then went online, mainly to the Florida Museum of Natural History and American Museum of Natural History, which is where I pulled most of the images used to train the AI, found pictures, or screenshot pictures of a horse's head, body, and feet. This does include a bone, like the leg bone, including the hoof. Then I implemented those into Copilot using just their photo implement features. I then asked it to generate 2 images actually, instead of 2 images, 2 of the same 3 body parts. And then I asked it to generate a diagram of the head and feet. This is where I ran into my first issue with this project. Apparently Copilot cannot generate any diagrams of any sort. I even tried to work around it. I tried to ask it if it could generate the bones with any external parts of it, so no muscle, skin, or the hoof, which is just cartilage in our fingernails basically. And then I added it. Then I tried other AIs to see if it did do a diagram. None that I could find, sadly. So with that information, I moved on, deleting 2 of my steps. Then I just went down the line. I went from Pilohippus all the way down to Eohippus. I didn't do it in chronological order, which I now regret, as it didn't affect it too much. It just messed with my OCD. And I repeated all those steps for each one. And the thing with these past Equidae family members is that it goes from 1 hoof to 4 hoofs the further down the line you get. So Eohippus had 4 toes on its front feet, 3 on the back. Then it just slowly goes up and up and up, back to the 1 hoof that we know of modern day Equidae family members. I did this. I just went through the line, then put them all into a Google Sheet and let the Google Sheet do the math for the average. Average wise, with the untrained AI generating the 5 images of the head, body, feet, with no training of any sorts on what the animal looks like, I got a average of 7.6 incorrect answers per photo, with an average of 1.2 per photo. Trained AI had a slightly higher average or actually slightly lower average with a 1.3 per photo incorrect and a 2.4 per photo per correct answer. This actually disproved my theory, as I did it before. I decided to generate the future predictions of what it would possibly look like in the future, or what this family would look like in the future. My hypothesis was an if-then statement of if it can correctly generate these past Equidae family members, then it could generate the future family members, or what it thinks it will look like based on all this given information. That was proven to be incorrect by the data, but I did go back in, asked it to just generate an image of what it thinks it will look like. It didn't give me anything. It just gave me a photo of a horse with what looks like past ancestors on it that were just modern day horses. I have to do it again, but try and use the information given to try and think of what it may possibly look like in the future. It gave me the same photo that it did the previous time. And what I noticed with this, what the main issue was, unsurprisingly, when I was talking to this, actually with some of my friends who are artists, was I was struggling with the feet specifically, and AI are known to be bad at generating hands, and I guess this also extends to hooves or feet. It also struggled with the head a little bit. It stayed mostly mammal. It just didn't stay mostly mammal in terms of what the Equidae family skulls look like. As this photo points out, it gave me a mouse when I was asking for a Merychippus, which could be called in size of a donkey. Their heads seem very similar to what a donkey could look like based on all the photos I found. And what I did notice is that when it does generate a correct image, it does seem to pull from a lot of modern day horses. One of them looks like it pulled from a draft horse, and so forth. But when it struggled, I noticed that it went more reptilian-like. I got a velociraptor head on top of a horse head body somehow. And so did when I tried to have it generate toes. For this, it went more claw-like than what is given in what was wanted, based on what I showed it. And it looked more like a reptile claw than a horse toe, or a toe with a thick layer of cartilage on it, like how a hoof is. In conclusion, the AI still needs work on this stuff. It's not as far advanced as some people may say. It still struggles, and it can't generate a lot of stuff correct, even with the genuine amount of information I gave it. I even told it that it was to go to the Florida National Museum of Natural History. I do not believe that Copilot can do that based on what I looked up after all this and what I got based on my experiment. One of the things I would mainly do again or do differently was maybe I would have tried a different one. Copilot, a different AI. Copilot is free. I don't know if there's a premium version of it, but it's free. I don't want to pay for AI, basically. Next time I think I may, if I ever were to do this project again, I think I would use a AI that may need me to pay to use it, because that may give a different outcome. But this one was free. Another thing I probably would have done differently that I tried to do but was unable to due to technical difficulties was do it on a PC instead of my phone. My PC unfortunately broke right as I started, so I had to restart and do it again. But that would be two things that I would do differently. Thank you for your time.